Again, this is Sid Haas with LKCS. We are going to go ahead and start the presentation today. Thank you for joining us. Like I said earlier, for those of you who just recently joined, everybody will be receiving a copy of today's presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted on YouTube later this afternoon. And we will also post a copy of the presentation on SlideShare. So there will be several ways that you can review the content after the meeting. And of course, my contact information will be presented at the end for any questions. The phone lines are muted during the webinar, so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Please just type them into the GoToMeeting toolbar on your screen, and I'll answer them throughout the presentation. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. Today's presentation is on how you can generate ongoing loan growth, particularly with your statements. So we're going to talk about a number of different things today. We're going to talk about statement marketing in general, what you can do with your statements to embed marketing information into the statements directly. We're going to talk about some of LKCS's credit prospecting tools and credit prospecting in general. That's available through the credit bureaus and other sources. And then we're going to talk about how we can combine those two things together. Some of the questions that we've gotten recently is, how do we actually put this to use? So we're going to show you some creative ways of doing that as we proceed today. For those of you who are not familiar with LKCS, LKCS provides a wide range of services for financial institutions. We've been working with credit unions for just about 50 years. The company was founded in 1961, and for the last 10 years or so, our focus has really been on utilizing technology to improve the results that our customers receive from their marketing and member communications efforts. So what you're seeing on the screen is just a few of the services that we offer and some of the different areas that we can assist with. And some of the things that we're talking about today actually fit across multiple areas, including one-to-one marketing, multi-channel marketing, campaign management and tracking, and even the segmentation and targeting. So a lot of the things that we're going to be discussing covers a lot of the areas that you see on here, but we're going to show you how to use it and put it to use. So as we talk about statement marketing, what we're talking about is a term called trans-promotional marketing, or Transpromo. It's an industry term that not a lot of people have heard, but we're seeing it more and more being used. And Transpromo is just a word that's a combination of the words transaction and promotional. And the concept between Transpromo marketing is to incorporate targeted, relevant advertising and messages directly on your transactional documents, such as your statements and your daily notices and your credit card invoices and things like that. Transpromotional documents, your statements, combine data mining and business technology, business intelligence technology with today's variable data printing technology. So, all these documents are obviously, what we call like a one-off document. They're all heavily personalized to the recipient because of the data that's included with them. And, statement vendors such as LKCS have the ability to use that data to actually turn around targeted marketing directly to everybody receiving their statement. And what that allows you to do is it really allows you to take advantage of free postage. You're paying to mail your statements now. You're paying for that postage. So you have the ability to include targeted advertising with your statements at really no additional charge, certainly no additional postage charge. And for those of you who aren't familiar yet, the post office just recently announced a postal increase of about a penny, and that's going to take place, I believe it's January 22nd of next year. And while most of us obviously do not like the fact that postage is going up, in this case the post office did one thing that may benefit many of our clients. And what they've decided is that statements that weigh between 1 and 2 ounces will continue to mail at 1 ounce postage rates. So what that means is you now can include additional pages of statement data without going overweight and without increasing your postage expenses. So, we've had situations in the past with several of our clients where, they decide whether they want to include a statement insert or they want to print a letter as the first page of their statement. We'll show you examples of that today, or they want to include an Onsert on their statements, but they only want to do it if that doesn't cause them to go overweight and add an additional piece of paper. Well, as of the middle of January, that concern really goes away because there are very, very few statements that we mail that are over 2 ounces, and anything under 2 ounces we'll mail at 1 ounce postage rates. So that's an advantage that you can look forward to in the not so distant future. Some of the things we're going to talk about today are the ability for including statement ads, otherwise called Onserts, that are printed directly on your statements. And we'll talk about how these ads can be sent to all of your members, or we can target very specific groups of your members, such as the ones that we're going to do credit prospecting with, that can receive those messages. These are not just the short text messages that you're used to including in your statements. These are highly graphical ads. They can be personalized. Obviously, they can include photos and different fonts and all sorts of different graphics and things like that. The cool thing with statement Onserts is that you have the ability to design them yourself. We can custom design them for you, and we even have an online catalog that has hundreds and hundreds of different concepts that you can use to create these Onserts. Here's just a few that our customers have used to give you an idea of what they could look like. So these are typically presented, printed at the bottom of the first page of the statement, but we can print them in other places. And actually the one on the right is actually an ad that takes up about 2/3 of the statement page. But you'll see that some of them are general, some of them are geared to a specific campaign. They can use for just about any purpose. And this is what the entire document could look like. So your statement would be the top 2/3 of the page with those Onserts at the bottom 1/3. The statement in the center is actually showing how we can use this same Onsert, this same statement marketing technology to actually generate loan payment coupons and print those as part of the statement. And the document on the right is actually a daily notice. So we have the ability to embed these types of marketing on your certificate renewal notices and all sorts of other documents that you may be mailing out. LKCS takes the Onserts one step further, and we have the ability to print what we call a statement letter. And what we do is we take the first page of your statement and we actually transform that into a dedicated direct mail piece. So we're taking, the actual statement appears behind this in the envelope, but the first page of the statement, the first thing that the member sees is a personalized letter. And we're going to actually show you specific examples of how you can use these types of letters to generate loans with pre-screen marketing campaigns. But you can also use them for referral campaigns, for skip-a-pays, to introduce your investment relationships, your investment advisors, to welcome new members, all sorts of other things. And like I mentioned earlier, now you no longer have to worry about any potential postage increase by adding a sheet of paper, because that's really off the table now. When we talk about these trans-promotional marketing offers, the questions that I get a lot is, well, does it work? And, people don't really look at their statements, so why am I going to, even though it's not expensive, why am I going to put any effort into putting this information onto paper statements? Well, I can't tell you for certain exactly how many people read statements. I wish I could, but I can't. But I can show you some recent surveys. And let me preface this by saying that I don't believe any of these numbers. So I don't believe they're anywhere near this high. But the United States Postal Service at the end of 2009 had a survey, and they showed that 95% of people read their statements at least once, spending 3 minutes on each statement. InfoPrint, which is a joint venture between Ricoh and IBM, so where the post office mails the statements and benefits from mailing, they want to show you good numbers. InfoPrint are people that develop software and printers for the industry, but they've found that 83% of people always open bank statements. And Pitney Bowes, who's obviously a large provider of mailing type equipment, they showed that 73% of respondents to a 2010 survey said that they would open and read financial and bank statements right away. Well, I'm sure you're as skeptical as I am and don't necessarily believe these numbers, but even if these numbers were off by half, there are still extremely high percentages of people. And I would venture to say that it exceeds probably the percentage of people that are opening direct mail campaigns. People are still looking at their statements, as evidenced by these large-scale surveys. The next question that we get is, well, what about these ads? Are they effective? Do people even look at those? And again, I can certainly provide some information as to what our customers see when they print ads on their statements and the effectiveness of them. But I can also show you some industry surveys there as well. There was one very good one that was done recently by Zoomerang and Infoprint that showed that 64% of survey respondents would use personalized coupons that were printed directly on their statements. And half of those people responding also said that would encourage brand loyalty. By doing that, by incorporating these personalized ads and these offers, you're making the statements and these promotions much more relevant to the recipient. What you're seeing with these survey results is that by making your campaigns more relevant, that people will take advantage of them. Again, even if that number was off by half, if 30% of recipients use those offers, that's a huge number. Now, when you compare that with what the Direct Marketing Association did in 2010, obviously they showed that banks and credit unions, that 60% of the direct mail campaigns they send out were obviously aimed to produce a direct sale. They're aimed to generate some type of account or some type of business. The average response rate for those campaigns was less than 3%, when dealing with a customer list, and barely over 1% when dealing with prospects. Well, with this type of targeting and by including these on the statements that the people are already reading, we can obviously far exceed those ratios. So, what we're saying is that these Onserts, these ads printed on your statements, will get read. I've been talking about printed statements and mailing, and everybody's obviously driving members to e-statements. Well, e-statements are even more important to include that marketing, and everything that I've talked about can also be done with the electronic statements. So what you're seeing here is a sample e-statement. We realize at LKCS that e-statements are the future. We've just recently had our first customers exceed 50% penetration on e-statements. So we're seeing, e-statement adoption growing in huge leaps and bounds. But just because you're saving money and delivering an e-statement doesn't mean you should stop delivering these marketing campaigns and these targeted marketing offers. So make sure that your e-statement vendor has the ability to incorporate all of these types of techniques. One of the nice things about e-statements too is that displaying color doesn't cost you any more money. Color statements, while the cost is coming down and we have more and more customers looking at it, color printing is very expensive still and is cost prohibitive for many of our customers. But the ability to print an ad or display an ad in color on an e-statement is obviously not expensive, and it does have a significant amount of impact when looking at the document online. So now that we've talked about our statement marketing, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Now we're going to talk about how we generate loans. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, then we'll go ahead and put this together and show you how you can combine these two technologies. So we're going to talk a little bit about credit-based marketing. And when we talk about credit-based marketing, what we're talking about is actually using credit bureau data. And by using that credit bureau data, it allows us to react with the right offer at the right time. So we can reach members who are highly qualified for our loan products, and then we can offer very relevant offers based on their specific credit. And we can deliver a firm offer of credit to cross-sell those additional products. And we can even do it at the moment a need has been identified, because we can actually see from some of the credit bureau data exactly when one of your members is in the market for a certain type of loan product. When we talk about LKCS's DataFlex credit prospecting, this credit data is available for any type of loan campaign, any type of pre-screen marketing campaign. So you can use this for auto loans, for mortgages, for home equity loans or lines of credit, obviously for all sorts of refinancing campaigns, for credit card loans. Lately we've seen inquiries on HARP loans and looking at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac types of loans. We have the ability to identify those and then extend pre-screened offer of credits pre-screened offers of credit, to your existing members. So when we extend these pre-approval offers, they're based not only on the credit bureau data, but on actual credit score. And you can also set additional criteria such as debt to income ratios. We can make sure that there's no delinquencies, no bankruptcies, no derogatories at all on their credit reports, and make sure that these individuals meet your specific underwriting guidelines. And then we send these statement-based loan offers to these prospects. So we identify the members that would be approved for the loan offer that you want to include. We compare that with the list of people that are receiving a statement, and we merge the two together. And again, I'll show you examples exactly how we do this. And then LKCS, for those of you that use DataFlex, LKCS has a DataFlex, which is our database marketing and analysis tool. We can use that reporting engine to measure the results of these campaigns. So I can find the group of members that received my statements. I can find the group of members that qualified for that loan offer. And then I can also show you, exactly which of those members then took advantage of that offer and open up that loan account as a result of receiving something in their statements. LKCS combines data from a ton of different sources to provide this type of list technology and credit prospecting technology. So the data certainly starts from all three credit bureaus. LKCS is one of the very few vendors that has data from all three credit bureaus. We also get daily trigger feeds from those credit bureaus, so that tells us exactly which of your members have applied for credit at any financial institution. We can use that information to trigger marketing, again, within the statement or outside of it. We combine that with demographic information, with county deeds records on homeowners, with automotive information from that industry, and all sorts of different things. So we aggregate all of that data together, and that's the data warehouse, I guess, that we have access to provide these types of pre-screened campaigns to identify these prospects. And obviously we have the information then about your specific members to screen against as well. So let me show you a couple of sample campaigns and how we can actually leverage credit data to generate loans with your statements. That was the goal of this presentation from the beginning. And what I want to show you is specifically in this sample campaign, the goal is to generate home loans. And we're going to generate home loans with Transpromo statement marketing. So I'm going to actually show you a series of different cover letters, those statement letters that we talked about towards the beginning of the presentation. And again, this would be the first page of the statement. With the rest of the actual statement, all of your transaction history would appear on pages behind this one. So this statement cover letter would be used for first-time home buyers. And keep in mind, I'm going to actually show you 3 different potential letters for campaigns. These can all run at the same time. So we can screen your group of members for the first-time home buyers offer, and in this case, we're going to look for your members that are renters. And again, I have that information from homeowner data and from various data like that. And then we're going to supplement that with credit parameters and credit scores such as FICO score, and again, those debt-to-income ratios, anything that you want to make sure these people would be approved for that loan. And then we have the opportunity to extend this pre-approved first-time home buyers letter directly with the statement. This sheet is probably going to cost you, if it's a black and white letter, in the neighborhood of about 4 cents to print and mail as part of your statements. And as we talked about earlier, there's no additional postage expense, so it's much less expensive than sending this out as a dedicated direct mail campaign, and just as effective, if not more effective, based on the percentage of people opening their statements that we talked about earlier. The second campaign that I'm proposing in this presentation is basically a credit card refinancing offer. Again, this would be the first page of the statement. It would be sent to homeowners that have available equity over a certain amount that you specify, with revolving credit card debt also over a certain amount. And again, we would pre-qualify these members based on FICO scores and other credit parameters. So we're only going to send these to people that meet these conditions. So we're looking for your members that have a specific amount of credit card debt and also have the equity to cover that credit card debt, pay it off, and encourage them to take out a loan, or a HELOC with your credit union. Again, this can run in conjunction with the first offer, all at the same time, the same month, the same quarter that you're sending those statements out. The third example that I want to show you is a letter designed just for home equity loans or home equity lines of credit. And again, this is going to be sent to homeowners that don't already have a home equity loan or line of credit with you. We're going to send it to people that have equity over whatever amount you specify. And, just like the other two campaigns, we're going to qualify these members based on their credit score and any other credit parameters that you want to specify. Just like the other two campaigns, this is going to go, all three of these letters could mail the same month, to different groups of members as part of your statement, and literally cost you just a few cents to include with your statements. Keep in mind that these could also be done separately. So while we're talking about using these as your statements, I do want to show you that you could also send these same offers out anytime you want, as separate standalone letters, as postcards like you're seeing here. We even have the ability to send these types of campaigns out via email, so that's even less expensive, than the 4 cents to print a statement letter. But you have the ability to send these out via email. Again, we can take your member list, take your email list, scrub those members for credit, and then send out these offers, provide all of the statistics on the email campaign just like you would with any other email marketing offer, and then also come back and even show you how many people took advantage of these offers by comparing that list in DataFlex. To take these statement-based marketing campaigns one step further, one thing that you can consider is also a matrix statement campaign where we send a series of onserts out over a period of months or quarters to cross-sell products and services to specific groups of account holders. So if you're familiar with matrix mailings and onboarding programs, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about doing it specifically with just your statement mailings. This is a terrific solution for new members, for mergers, for new branches, for new seg groups, things like that. And just like we talked about with those statement letters, you have the ability to run multiple matrices at the same time. So you can set up a matrix for new members, that you're running at the same time that you have a matrix running for a specific seg group that you brought on board or something like that. So I'm going to actually show you an example that one of our credit unions is currently running, and I believe that this credit union is actually sitting in on this webinar, so they'll tell me if everything I say is accurate. But what I'm going to show you is actually the Onserts campaign that they are running, and I'm going to blow up and actually walk through what this matrix is doing. And what they're doing is they're triggering Onserts on their quarterly statements based on specific conditions. So this credit union wanted to make sure that they were only going to market to members over age 16. So before we print any Onserts for any members, we're going to make sure that the member that would receive that Onsert is over age 16. And if they're not, we're not going to send them any Onserts. The next condition that we're going to look for is to see if they have a checking account with the credit union. And if they don't, we're going to mail them an Onsert. We're going to print an Onsert promoting checking accounts on those statements. And if they did have a checking account with the credit union, we're going to send them an Onsert about online services. The people that did not have a checking account that received the checking Onsert would then get this online services insert with their next statement. The next condition that we're going to look for is this is where this credit union starts promoting their loan products, and they're looking for members who are over 21 that have a credit score over 700. And if they don't meet those conditions, they're not going to receive any other Onserts. They would receive the maximum of 2 Onserts already, and then they're not going to receive any more. But if they have, if they are both over 21 and have a credit score over 700, we're going to look for an auto loan. And if they did not have an auto loan, we're going to send an auto loan Onsert. If they don't have a home equity loan or a line of credit, we're going to send a HELOC Onsert. Now, one of the unique things that this credit union does is they have two Onserts that I really like that are designed for loyal members, and they want to look for the members that are using their credit union as their primary financial institution. So they're looking specifically for members that have checking, direct deposit, a vehicle loan, and some type of home equity loan. And if they have all of those, they're actually going to send them two Onserts. One is a loyal member reward Onsert, and one is a loyal member referral Onsert, where they're asking their loyal members to refer new members to the credit union. I want to show you what a couple of these Onserts look like for this particular credit union, because one of the things that I like about what this credit union is doing is each one of the Onserts includes a special offer. We have a lot of Onserts, just like we see a lot of marketing pieces that credit unions send out or that they put on their website, and there's not a very strong call to action, not a specific offer. But this credit union actually put in these reverse boxes a very strong offer and a compelling reason for a member to use these Onserts. So that loyal member reward Onsert, which we just talked about, you can see it at the top, that's offering 0.5% off of the loan. So these are actually the other two Onserts that I'm showing you are both designed to generate loans. The home equity one in the middle offered a $75 Visa gift card, and then the auto one at the bottom also offered 0.5% off of the qualifying loan rate. But these are ways that this credit union does this, and this is a campaign that runs for them every quarter. So all new members are put into this mix, and all new members are basically cross-sold a variety of this credit union's products and services over a period of quarters as part of their statements. Again, this is costing this credit union very, very little, and I think from the results that we've seen with this credit union, the results have been very, very good. These types of ongoing statement campaigns can be used in a lot of different areas. So the example that I showed you with home equity, or the example that I just showed you with North Star's Onserts, you can use for a variety of different things. On the loan side, you can certainly use it for loan payoffs, thanking members for paying off their loan or almost paying off their loan. You can use them for auto loan recaptures. We know that a lot of members are taking out 60 and 72-month auto loans, but yet they're trading that vehicle in, after 3 years. So we can start to promote, auto loans to members when that loan reaches a certain age or has a certain amount of, below a certain balance left on the loan or a certain number of months left. We can set out loan payment coupons, as I showed you earlier. We can set up birthday messages. We have customers that are doing that with these Onserts. Certainly, as I shared with the Onsert campaign that we talked about, the Matrix campaign, you can use this for onboarding and new members. For CD renewals, as CDs are coming due or before they come due, you can certainly include current rate grids and different things like that to retain that money. You can have different Onserts and things for your kids clubs and your teen clubs. Certainly there's all sorts of opportunities to take advantage of new mergers or acquisitions, things like that. And certainly when you bring on segs, we can identify those members and include special offers with the statements for those members as well. So that's everything that I have for you guys today. Like I said, I'm happy to answer any questions. Please feel free to type them into the GoToWebinar toolbar on your screen. And certainly offline, I'll be happy to answer any questions.